Welcome back, people, to my hunting elk part 2. Okay, in part 1 I left you with me looking at this nice beautiful elk through my scope and watching him die. And it wasn't my rifle that went boom. Well, before that incident happened, because we get to our hunting spot in the dark like everybody else, I had heard rifle shots farther up the trail from me, and I was pretty confident it was my guys. I go hunting with 3 other gentlemen, and they dropped me off first at the first meadow that we liked, and we were spaced out like about every half mile going up the trail. So anyway, now that this hunter had shot an elk in my area, it was pointless to stay there because had any other animal come into my line of fire, if you will, I couldn't shoot at him anyway because I had this hunter downrange butchering his kill. So I decided to move, loaded my gear up, started going through the woods, and I'd go a few feet or a few yards, whatever, stop, listen, move a little bit, stop, listen, that kind of thing. Ran into 2 other hunters, and I ran into 2 cows. Well, I only have a bull tag, so that didn't do me any good. But the good news is there's a lot of animals in this area. So I'm working my way up the trail. Didn't see anything that I could shoot. I finally come across one of my buddies who's pulling quarters off this hillside down to the trail. So I go to help him, and as I ground my pack, I put the rifle over my shoulder because you never know, and I start helping him pull quarters down to the trail. Well, in the morning, before we left, I suggested that we take the cart and all the packs with us because I was pretty confident these guys know what they're doing and whatnot. I was pretty confident we were going to get some animals, so I suggested we take the packs in. They didn't want to. They left all that stuff back at the truck, and I took mine anyway. And lo and behold, we got 2 animals down and nothing to carry them out with. So the other 2 guys had gone back to the truck after the animals were butchered to get all the gear. And keep in mind, that's about 4 miles back to the truck. So that was a wasted trip. Couldn't carry anything out the first time those 2 guys went back to the truck. So while we're waiting, we get all the quarters pulled down off the hill onto the trail waiting. So while we're waiting, we decided to have some lunch. It was about that time. So we're sitting on this log chit-chatting. And all of a sudden, my buddy is hitting me in the leg. He's just hitting my leg, not saying anything. He's just hitting my leg. I look up, and this bull had walked out of the forest and was standing right on the trail. He looks at us, we look at him, and he takes off back up into the forest. I think if he had a hand, he would have flipped us off or something. But anyway, why didn't I shoot him, you might ask? Well, here's a mistake for you rookies. Don't do this. Remember when I was pulling the quarters off the hill, I slung my rifle over my shoulder just in case. Well, while I was sitting on that log eating lunch, where was my rifle? I left it about 20 feet on the other side of the trail, leaning against my pack. Never leave your weapon unattended when you're out in the field. Never. You don't know when those animals are just going to show up. Oh boy. So our buddies get there. We put the head and the back straps in the little wagon, and we put the hindquarters, all 4 hindquarters, on the game cart, and then we're carrying the front quarters. Well, the wagon doesn't get more than about 500 feet, let's say, and then the front wheels bust. So now we're down a wagon, and the meat and the head that's in there. So, and it gets even better. This game cart, first time we used it, so we're rookies with this piece of equipment. Well, we have this dumb thing loaded too much. All right, so the trail that we're on is at enough of an angle that downhill tire couldn't take all the weight. Now, it lasted a good mile before the rubber came off. So it's a solid rubber tire, thank goodness. So we were able to put the rubber back on the wheel, keep on going, but shortly after that, the wheel just bent and crumbled and pretty much disintegrated. To me, it disintegrated, but anyway. So now we're stuck. So now we got to go now we're back doing it the old-fashioned way. We already had the front quarters on us, so we hiked those out. We left one person with all of our gear and whatnot. My buddy wanted to take the head out first, so he carried that out first. And we remembered to tie some ribbons around the antlers because he had that on his back walking through the woods. So we tied some ribbon on his antlers just in case. Well, my first trip back, fine and dandy, no problem. Going back for the second trip. Well, the second trip, I had the was a hind quarter. I cannot remember, and we don't debone them. I cannot remember a pack being that heavy. If I had to wager, I carry 90-pound bags of concrete once in a while for my job. So it was around there. It was around there. And this is my second trip back to the truck, and we're somewhere in the 2.5, 3 mile away range. So you guys can do the math there. But my goodness, I was tired on that second trip. I took 2 rest stops, but very short ones. And I was just taking baby steps until I got to the final hill, and gravity could help me take some larger steps, but I was a whipped puppy by the time I got back to the truck. So we don't get everything out because we took that head in on one of those trips, so we've got a hind quarter hoisted in the tree, and our carts. We weren't worried about the carts. They're busted. No one's going to mess with those. So Sunday morning, we wake up, and me and one of the guys, we go back in, and I don't know who had the better deal. He carried the hind quarter, and I drug the broken cart and wagon out. I don't know who got the better end of the deal on that one. But we got that out Sunday morning we got everything out, Sunday afternoon, we drive into town, and the town where we get it butchered is about an hour and a half out, and drop the meat off. We order a whole bunch of specialty meat, and I've got a picture of some of it. And then here's some of the stash that we divided up between the 4 of us, because our main purpose is just to get meat for the freezer. All right, and with 2 elk down, we had half an elk each, so we were quite content. So while the butcher wasn't going to be done till Tuesday, we hunted Monday morning with no luck. It just happened to be raining also. But anyway, no luck. Monday afternoon, we just kicked back and did some stuff around camp. And then Tuesday, we packed up and came home. So we considered it a big success, even though we had 4 tags and we only filled 2 of them. It's meat's the primary thing, and we had half an elk, which is enough for the 4 of us. So we were all good to go. Now, I do want to make fun of some people because we saw this. If you need the right equipment for a successful hunt, it helps. And if your equipment falls into the category of found on the road dead, I just want to bring something to your attention. We've had a successful hunt, and you've got a Dodge on the left, a Dodge in the middle, and a Dodge on the right. Hey, I'm just saying. Alrighty, people, that's all I have for you. Thank you very much for listening. And remember, folks, play hard. You have probably earned it. You all take care, and I will absolutely talk to you guys later. Bye-bye, all.